Hey, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Revelations. It's a series on evangelism and discipleship, highlighting ministries in action all around the country, hoping you, our viewer, would get a couple revelations. God is still working, and there's a part for you to be playing in the body of Christ. Today, we're visiting a ministry called Hope Builders Ministries, based out of Greenwood, Virginia. And with me is the president, Johann Gauss. Johann, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome. It's our treat. Tell me a little bit about the ministries, its purpose, its vision, a little bit about the history as well.
We're working in a total of about 12 different countries at the present moment in Africa. We really believe that God has called us to make disciples and then to teach them, baptize them, and so on. We also use the natives, the indigenous peoples, because they already speak the language, they already know the cultural pitfalls, and they are accepted by the local community. We have a lack of leaders that can effectively evangelize and then disciple their followers.
So I understand there's a real emphasis on church planting as well.
We start by going in, finding the key people that God has in that community. We start discipling them and immediately commission them to have disciples themselves. That way the church stands up. Whenever you plant a church, you're working yourself to death to keep it going. If you're making disciples and they're making disciples, it stands up by itself. And it is then supported from the inside and actually starting a discipleship movement in that village. And that's the great thing. There are literally thousands upon thousands of villages where there is no evangelical, biblically based presence, a church there.
So you guys raise up the leaders, 2 Timothy 2:2.
Absolutely, and we take our discipleship to the fourth generation. It's Paul to Timothy, to faithful men, to those who can teach others also.
That's very good. Hey, stay tuned as we get some more interviews from folks that are serving within the Hope Builders ministry, so you can get a fresh revelation on how God is using this ministry to reach Africa for Christ. Stay tuned.
When I first heard about Hope Builders, when Johann explained its mission, I was impressed that they would go out into the bush in Africa and teach these pastors who did not live in any city to be able to be pastors and to teach the other people within their churches. It was just so impressive to see that working, and to see the results were amazing.
Their mission is to just make disciples. Very simple calling, yet their work goes far and deep into the country of Africa. They use indigenous individuals, ministers that are in the area, teaching them from the very beginning, really cultivating what's already been planted by God in those communities. It is a miracle to see what happens.
God has been at work in me to understand disciple making through the years. I appreciated what Hope Builders did in Africa, at least, with seeing the hub model and the hub pastor discipling those pastors he was helping plant the churches around. But as I'm understanding disciple making more, I appreciate what Hope Builders does more, and especially in the disciple making emphasis that they have, because disciple making is not a part of the commission. It is the commission, and evangelism and fellowship and the other things are what go into making a disciple.
Hope Builders seeks to reach the people of Africa through them by equipping indigenous pastors to go out and disciple others and then teach them to disciple others. It's a 2 Timothy 2:2 concept that becomes a 4-generation discipling process.
Hope Builders has extended their vision into being that world vision and hoping to establish churches in Africa where it's very hard to actually send pastors from the United States into Africa, but it's easier to utilize the people that are there and send them to their own people.
The vision of Hope Builders is to make disciples who are making disciples, and to do that through the indigenous people. Hope Builders focuses upon the believers in the countries, the individual believers there, the native believers, the indigenous believers, to help them to do the work of ministry. They know the language, they know the culture, they know the pitfalls of life there, where it takes an American years and years to learn languages, culture. Our whole focus is to help our brothers there to do the work better. And so that's our vision, to work through them, to help them make disciples, train pastors, plant churches, and win lots of people to Christ.